Hello, everyone. I am Natalie Oliverio, and I'm the founder of Military Talent Partners, where we help veterans and spouses get connected to meaningful careers at companies all across the US. I'm also the creator of Mission Career Transition, a better way for your career transition. And I am a post 9/11 Navy veteran and a career corporate recruiter working in recruiting for a little over 12 years. I have hired thousands of people. I've worked with hundreds of hiring managers in companies and verticals spanning the spectrum of government consulting to pharmaceuticals to manufacturing to aerospace, you name it. And for the past 4 years, I've had the pleasure and honor of being a mentor. And it's mentorship that really made me fall in love with recruiting all over again, because at the core of recruiting and mentorship are real relationships. And I'm hoping, although virtually, here today to have a strong relationship with you so that you'll know you are not alone in your transition. I am here. We are here in your corner and to help. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the future of you. Everyone getting out of the military, whether you're days, weeks, months, or years until your transition date, first gets the idea that you're going to transition. There's something for you post military. You're likely still very young and full of potential. You're going to be joining a second career that's going to define the second part of your professional life. But what does that look like? Most high performing veterans, special operators included, really have a struggle because you can do so many different things. Your talent is so strong that you can pivot into multiple directions. So, how do you know what to choose? And how do you talk about that? What is it called? It all begins with the future of you. Everything that you do from now into the future, post military, really will define your new identity. Who you become is who you'll talk about in your resume, in your LinkedIn profile, in your networking, your interviews, and as you onboard into your next organization. The future you is your brand. Your personal brand is future facing. What you don't want to do is to stand up and say, "Hi, I'm Kyle. I spent 30 years in the military. This is what I did, XYZ," because already people go into autopilot. They stop listening. And that's not what you want or deserve. And by the way, don't take it personally. Unfortunately, this is the dichotomy of a human adult attention span. It's about 6 seconds long. So you can imagine that unless you are giving them a punchline up front, the bottom line up front, or really grabbing their attention in a written resume, you're going to lose that attention just as quickly as you think you found it. But the way through that is by exciting them. And what could be more exciting than the future of you? Now, determining the future of you is a little bit different than what you have been going through to date. You have had everything laid out for you. You've had promotions automated, you've had expectations automated, you have performed, most likely over delivered, and been rewarded for your hard work. But now everything is a free play, and you are the director and designer of the rest of your life. Let's think about that for a second. You have the rest of your life to create an impact, to make a difference, to live your purpose, and to build a legacy. So, what does that look like for you? Think about the big, hard questions that no one talks about. Do the hard part first, and you'll be so much stronger in the follow through. What if your second career was actually like a movie? And you're sitting in the front row at a movie theater watching this movie about your second career post military. How did the last 5 minutes go? What's the ending like? Who are you with? Where are you? What are you doing? Start visualizing the end of your career, what you've accomplished, what you've done and impacted, who you've impacted, what people will say about you months and years after you've left the company or organization. When you think about that big picture, you can reverse engineer your way there with your very next step post military. The future of you depends on the choices that we make today. So you're getting out of the military, you're starting to design the rest of your life, you're talking with your spouse, your kids, your family, your friends, those who are important to you in your life. You need their collaboration so you can understand where you'll live next. What kind of companies can you work for that exists where you want to live? Make some lists, make a top 10 jobs list of the companies that exist and the areas you want to live in those companies, what kind of jobs exist? Read the career pages, do your research, understand what's expected of and needed from you. Because if you are not qualified and eligible based on your past experience, what can you do to become qualified or eligible? It may just be a certification or a class or a degree, but whatever it is, having the focus and the direction will help you get there. Once you've done this research, you can make a top 10 jobs list. You can make an Excel spreadsheet or use a personal CRM like HubSpot, which has a free personal edition that you can use to keep all of your relationships and information and data organized, get automated reminders, really stay on top of a proactive career search and transition. But most important is the research, understanding not just what you're good at, not just what you can do, but what do you want to do and why do you want to do it? Finding your purpose post military is the single biggest factor to your happiness and your success. So you're thinking about your impact. What kind of legacy will you leave behind? What will people say about you when they remember the work that you've done? All of this, of course, is future thinking and post military. Now you can really understand what's on the talent marketplace. What kind of jobs exist out there? Everyone gets the preconceived idea of, oh crap, I need a resume. I better start writing down everything I've done in the past 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. But that's where they all go wrong. They haven't even stopped to think about their future selves. Who will they be next? How do you talk about that person if you don't really know who that person is? It's time to dig deep. Ask yourself the thought provoking questions that only you can answer about your legacy, your impact, your mission, and your purpose. Then ask yourself these 4 questions. What do you do? Number 2, how do you do it? That's different or better than somebody else. This is also known as your value proposition, your unique value proposition. Number 3 is the depth of them all. Why? Why do you do it? And when you answer those 3 questions, what do you do? How do you do it that's different or better than somebody else? And why do you do it? You get the answer to number 4. Who are you? Which then moves to the top. That's your opener. Who are you? Not who are you today, not who have you been in the past, but who is the future of you? Who are you in the future? When you talk to this person, talk about this person, write to this person, you're creating the future identity of yourself as a veteran, no longer a service member, as a professional, as a civilian. You are now the future of you. Your past experience and all that you've already done and accomplished still counts for everything. It qualifies and quantifies you to do whatever it is you're going to do next. But that's not where your story stops. You, no matter where you are in your career, no matter what point you've come to, you did not come this far to only come this far. This has just set you up. This has cleared the board so that you can create whatever it is that speaks to you next. So here's how I recommend getting started. Number 1, dig deep with the heavy, hard-hitting questions. of your legacy, your impact, your mission, your purpose. Answer the 4 questions as well, or be able to answer those questions at the end of your research. What do you want to do? How will you do it that's different or better than somebody else? Why? What's your purpose behind doing it? And number 4, who are you? So once you understand that baseline, fundamental, foundational information about yourself, now hit the job market. What exists? Where will you live? What companies exist there? Or if you're open to location, what companies really speak to you by their mission, vision, values, or their employee culture, or the environment that they offer? What really speaks to you, and where are those companies located? Either way, whether you start with industry or company first or location first, pick one and use that point as a driver. Then make your top 10 jobs list. Of that top 10 jobs list, these careers should really speak to all the points that are important to you. And you can use the various job descriptions to tie together the identity of the future you. You don't have to any longer go through your history or your long storied military career and translate verbatim experience for experience into quote unquote civilian speak. Now you can use these job descriptions, pick 3 or 4. They're likely to have similar requirements based on your path, and allow those requirements to be prompted questions for you to answer based on your experience. I like to use a blank notebook, a whiteboard, a OneNote sheet online, whatever is your method. And when I see a requirement that says was responsible for corporate budget in excess of $1 million. Okay. So think about the time in your military career, your work history, where you're responsible for a large sum of money. The equipment that you were in charge of, what was that worth? What was the value there monetarily? And write an experience statement on that scrap piece of paper. I don't recommend going straight into your resume, because that gives you almost a perfection paralysis, where you have to sit down and get every line straight, or else you're just going to mess the whole thing up. And trust me, nobody needs that kind of pressure when it comes to writing their resume. So instead, think about what the requirements are on that job description, or that 3 or 4 descriptions you're going to pull from, and find the commonalities between them, and then reflect on your experience, jotting down experience statements along the way. Then, once you have this book of experience statements, you can use them to then highlight the most impressive pieces of your experience that are relevant to what the job description is asking for. You can use action verbs. You should use an action verb to start every bullet point, but you should have no more than 3 when you're crafting up your resume. So you want to make sure that the high impact bullets that you're using are the absolute best representation of the future of you, not just the biggest and best of what you've already done, but also speak to what's next for you. This is not just talking about your experience, it's also setting you up for future success. So once you've done that, now you understand your mission, your purpose, your value, what you want to do, and your resume is really going to be able to convey all of that information. Recruiters are reading through, really glancing through hundreds, sometimes thousands of resumes a day. That is a lot for any one human being. Recruiters can be responsible from anywhere from 40 to 60 requisitions per recruiter. And that's so many people. And on top of that responsibility, you've got hiring managers on your back. Where's this person? Why haven't we hired them yet? What's taking you so long? And you've also got a short amount of time to be administrative and consultative. It's a lot. I'm not trying to campaign for how busy recruiters are, but I want you to understand it's really not personal. Your resume is likely to not get read. It's a fight to get your resume read. And not just because of the overwhelming amount of work every recruiter faces or recruiting team faces, but also because the adult attention span is literally 6 seconds long. So unless you can grab someone's attention right off the bat, you've likely lost them, because their brain's on autopilot. They're looking at a template they've probably seen 100 times before, and they just kind of glaze over it, especially if there's too much text. It's too bulky. You've said too much, you've gone on too long, Keep it short and sweet. High impact, big bang for your buck, bottom line up front. Give them the punchline, hook their attention, and make them listen to you. That is the goal in a summary, in a headline, in the focus of your resume. You want it to have enough white space. You want it to breathe so that the human eyes that see it feel that it's easy to read. They feel empowered to read it because it's not going to take too long. Like a 10-point font, all with 30 bullet points squeezed onto one page. It makes you look like makes your brain feel like it's going to take a really long time to read it. Even in truth, if it's a 2 to 5 minute read, it's just a mind trick. So you want to make sure you don't fall into that when you're developing and delivering on your resume. Now that you've done all the hard work, you can see the result written in your resume, and you can also echo that into your LinkedIn profile. Once your profile and your resume are built, now you've established your personal brand. Don't forget, your personal brand is all about the future of you, not who you've been, not what you've already done, because remember, that is in the past. The future of you now has a shiny new brand. You're hitting social media, you're hitting your resume, you are ready to network. It's different to talk about the future of you. You're probably not used to it. It's a different concept to talk about things that you haven't done yet in a way that makes you sound intelligent about it and experienced in it. Even if it's something new, even if you're doing a pivot into something that you have literally no experience in, it's the way that you talk about it. It's the way that you make people feel when they read your resume, when you network them with them on the phone or in person or on a Zoom call. It's the way you make them feel. And do not ever forget the golden rule of hiring. It's really relevant to hiring, to sales, to whatever capacity you're trying to win someone over or get them to do something you want them to do. People don't hire you, people don't buy, people don't agree for your reasons. They do it for their reasons. Write that down. People, companies, managers, they don't hire you for your reasons. They hire you for their reasons. This is how you can make them feel that you are the right person and make them feel like their reason is to hire you. When you practice talking about the future of you, practice your elevator pitch, a 30-second version and a 60-second version based on your resume and your LinkedIn and your new trajectory, the new second career you're about to step into. Keep talking about it. Now, I'll pause here for a cringeworthy moment because I'm going to tell you, in practicing, record yourself on your phone. Nothing makes me cringe more than watching myself back on video. But I will say, if you're not looking back and cringing on what you're doing, then you're not doing enough to grow. So practice, practice, practice. No matter how uncomfortable it gets or how silly you might feel, practice with your spouse, practice just talking to yourself, practice recording yourself and watching it back. Watch back is such a powerful tool. And here's why. You can see things that you did that you could say better. Maybe you're doing like crazy things with your hands while you're talking and you like need to settle down. Or maybe you keep like tossing your hair around like I'm doing right now, which I don't recommend. But I always have at least one or two hairs right in my eye line. And so it's a whole thing. But by practicing, I can do better, right? I can pull my hair back. I can fix this flyaway, a million different things. I'm digressing, but I think you get my point. Practicing on video will really help you to be so much more comfortable when you keep speaking it out loud. It's not just speaking it into existence, the future of you, you're getting more comfortable with your future identity. The more comfortable you become with the future of you, the more confident you are, the more confident you look, the more confident you sound, and most importantly, the more confident you're making that hiring person feel. When you're comfortable and you're confident, now you're sounding competent. And that's what we're after. Even, especially even if you don't have any experience in this trajectory or pivot or whatever you choose to do next. If you're comfortable and confident and you're sounding competent while you're talking to a hiring authority, an executive, a recruiter, a hiring manager on your resume or on the phone or in person, you are going to win them over and absolutely crush it every single time. It is really not so much what we say, it's how we say it. How we say it is making people feel a certain way about us. That is the goal. And anybody can make this happen. It's really putting in the work on the front end to understand your goals. Speaking of those, make sure you're writing your goals down every day. You need to be so incredibly close to your goal or goals that you can articulate every single piece, every single detail about what your goals are. If you're visualizing your goal on the other side of a door, think about that door. Is it a double door? Is it an aluminum? Is it wood? Is it heavy? Is it a push in or a pull out? And what's the doorknob like? Is it crystal? Is it brass? Is it silver? Um, is it heavy when you open it? And when you open the door, what is on the other side? Think about all of these fine print details. The more detail, the better you articulate that goal. I can promise you a big mistake so many make is not nailing the ability to articulate their goal. So when someone asks, "Oh, what do you want to do next?" Well, I want to be a consultant. I want to get into operations. I want to be a leader. All of the above are not job titles that people can actually help you get. So it's really crucial to understand verbatim, word for word, what you want to do and what your goal is. So that no matter who you're talking with, they immediately understand if they can help you or not. And if not, do they know someone who can? Let me give you this example. If you needed something to write with and you went into a crowded room, a conference room, we'll say, and you asked, does anyone have something to write with? Knowing that you need something specific, but you're just asking for something to write with. People will give you a pencil, a pen, a marker, a Sharpie, a highlighter, a mechanical pencil, a colored pencil, whatever. But what you really wanted and really needed was a red crayon. And had you gone into that conference room and said, does anyone have a red crayon? I really need a red crayon. Can I borrow it for a few minutes? You may have only heard from one or two people, probably a parent with a leftover coloring book and crayons in their bag or their briefcase, but you would have been handed directly a red crayon, which is exactly what you want. And trust me, in the career or military transition game, the last thing you want to do is not ask for what you need because you will get the wrong thing every time. I don't know what crazy law of humanity it is, but if you leave any room for misinterpretation, if you leave a crack in the exterior, you will be misinterpreted every time. It just always happens that way. So it's better to be comfortable, confident, and competent, not just in your future identity and the future of you, but also for what you're asking for. That's how you ask better. That's how you actually get what you need. So practice, 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 because that's what you're going to get out of it. So you put in the work and you make it work for you. It's you're helping yourself get the help that you need and get closer to making your goals a reality. And that is such a powerful thing. I wish I could take Q&A at this point just to ask because I know I'm throwing so much information at you. But what I can tell you is this. Military Talent Partners offers free mentorship and coaching. We have mentorship and we partner with some of the most amazing VSOs like Veterati and American Corporate Partners, of course, Elite Meet, and also the Travis Manion Foundation. So if you need a mentor, you're going to come through me, but we're going to make sure you're paired up with a mentor that gets you where you want to go. But also, we have a 6-week online career transition program. It's called Mission Career Transition. I wrote this program as a mentor from one-to-one mentorship to take it from one-to-one to one-to-many because the fundamentals and the framework is the same for everyone. No matter where you are, where you're coming from, and where you want to go next, the mechanics are the same. So this program is 6 weeks. It's one mission per week. It starts with career discovery and finding your why. Then we go into the future of you and personal branding. And then once we mastered those two missions, then we go into resume week, followed by LinkedIn and networking week. Week 5 is interview prep and elevator pitch. And week 6 is offer negotiation and a recap. Because once you've nailed this and you've got all these offers coming in, how do you negotiate? How much money do you ask for? And what kind of compensation factors should you be paying attention to? There's so much that we don't know. And if you don't know, you just don't know. But we can do better. And we're definitely better together. The amazing news is all of our services for veterans are free. So if you're interested in our next cohort, it begins on November the 9th. We'll have another one after the first of the year. So if you'd like to get in on that, you can reach out to me directly, either at militarytalentpartners.com or email me, Natalie at militarytalentpartners.com. So I cannot recommend doing the hard part first enough because it is everything. And you are worthy of the absolute right, meaningful career for you. The downside to not doing it this way and just trial and error, or jumping into an MBA program to buy some more time, which happens more than you know, um, is really getting into the wrong fit, and to the detriment of having to start over, 6 months, 12 months down the road. That's really, really tough to do. And now you're after the military, after you've had another position, now there's a buffer between being a transitioning veteran that now you have to speak to. So you want to make sure at all costs, if you can control it, and you can, that you get the absolute right thing for you. But also, it's so imperative to know that you're not alone. Seek out the right resources for you. There is a sea of advice out there, and it can be really, really tough to know who to listen to and where you should be paying attention and giving your focus and energy. But all the more reason to understand the future of you. Because once you nail that and you understand the future of you and where you're going next, that puts you on a path, on a trajectory where your goal is locked in and you are ready to take it on. You're ready to say yes to all the right things and to drown out the noise of everything that's not for you. That's a real power move. Having the potential to say yes to everything that fits you and no to everything that doesn't will save you so much time and pain. Trust me from experience. So, um, do your research first. Talk with your spouse, talk with your family, and then make your action plan with answering the 4 questions, your top 10 jobs list, really writing out experience statements and comparing, the qualifications that you have, the experience that you have with the future of you and your potential, where you want to drive it. Then seek out support. Get the right mentor for you. Mentorship can change your life. And I know that you are no more than a few clicks away from finding an amazing opportunity to meet the right people. So I hope this has been helpful today. If you have follow-up questions or want to continue the conversation, again, you can reach out to me personally, Natalie at militarytalentpartners.com, or at militarytalentpartners.com. We have an info sheet on every page. Reach out to me on LinkedIn or Instagram. Anywhere where you are, I am likely there too, and in your corner. So don't be afraid to ask for support, to ask for the help you need, because at this point of your military transition, nothing is more important than the future of you. And you should never be afraid to ask for the support that you need and deserve. And it's been an honor to be spending or have spent this time with you today. I appreciate your attention and I'm always here to support you. So I'm always wishing you the best, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.